Hello! Hello, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Merry, well... Yeah, we got 5 days. Yeah. Happy... fucking whatever. Merry early Christmas. Here we go. Let's go with that. Yeah. Merry early Christmas, everyone. Today, as you can probably read in the title, we're gonna be doing punishing a great raven. A gay raven, as one might say. Anyways, now I have been debating whatever I should do. Okay, so like, excuse me. I'm debating whatever to do the like the main chapter, like the main. Hold on, I could show you like right now. Like I'm debating to do this or hold on. Is there like a Christmas related? Doesn't look like it. No. Okay. All right. I don't know. Well, okay. I guess we're doing main chapter 17, the surviving Lyceum. Oh, hold on. I need to turn on the music. Highly. Don't mind me. Actually, hold on. Let me balance out a little bit.
Please look forward to my performance.
So that way you guys can hear the game. Yeah, okay. It should be good enough. I'll put it a little bit. Just up it a little bit.
Please look forward to my performance.
I have like Black Rock Shooter. Alright. Now we can do this. So far, this is kind of an interesting way to present the main chapter here. Being this like whole continent right here. Some people say that life is born from a mother's suffering, then grows up the accompaniment of torture. It is distinguished in sorrow. You simply cannot grow up without sorrow, because the gifts of fate are hidden on both sides of the road of suffering. If you wish to receive such gifts, I cannot read. Sorry. You must first step on this road. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Alas, that is only what some people say. If you were a baby about to be born, or someone on the verge of death, faced with what it was to come back. Oh my god. Sorry guys, I cannot read. For the life of me, I cannot read. Faced with what was to come, or backed, turned to what had already transpired. What would fill the depths of your heart? Excitement? Or fear? If you could start over, would you choose this life? What? This is your first time meeting a stranger who wants a conversation for no reason. No, I never thought about that. I'm just saying you look like someone who thinks about that. If so, I hope you will not regret this decision. It's a bit of a cold opening right there. You will regret this! 6:20 p.m. The last transport craft here for a rescue mission crashes and causes a massive explosion. Yeah, we can see that. A horde of hetero creatures rushes out from the dense smoke, declaring their victory and humanity's loss of air superiority. In the wilderness, with Lee's help, the survivor drags his broken leg as he struggles to escape the catcher. Are you nuts? You shouldn't come here to rescue people. Save your breath and pick up the pace. Though he's being verbally harsh, he does stop for a while to let his companion catch up and seizes that chance to fire bullets at the hetero creatures coming from the sky. It's been over a month since the disaster that happened in the Polo Forest Park ruins. The humans trapped on the surface still have to rely on this method to survive. The escape plan you proposed is crazy. There's almost no chance for us to... He seems still in shock as he talks to Lee while trembling. Letting Lucia use that external thruster to take care of the paratroopers. This is just... He gets interrupted by a beep from Lee's terminal, but Lee doesn't look down to check the device. Instead, he remains vigilant and continues to hunt down the hetero creatures that try to get close. Lucia has found a transport vehicle. She's on her way here. How do you know? We didn't even look at it. What if it's a distress signal? She's the captain, the Grey Raven. Forget it. After all, if she could survive a battle like that. Alright then. Let's proceed onward and... Fuck, I can't read. Sorry. Let's proceed onward and, meet her there. Here we go. You know what? That's better. That's better. That's better. He sighs, then appears to relax ever so slightly. Lee doesn't answer. He focuses his attention on the hetero creatures flying in the sky and continues in the same direction. We need to get them off of our tails before we enter the conservation area. You're still coming this way? Of course. You really shouldn't go charging into the crash site just to save people. All those bastards around the transfer crafts going straight for you. You're the reinforcements sent by Babylonia. You're our comrades. He sighs helplessly for having to state the obvious. These were Lucia's exact words. If our commandant was so conscious, the same would surely be said. So, I won't leave you behind either. But, I heard there are enough medical supplies to treat all the wounded in the conservation camp area. Before we set out, we had already prepared to sacrifice ourselves and recall... Lee stops talking, lets his companion lean on him, and makes haste. If we spend too many medical supplies, eventually most slightly injured people won't be able to recover. If the rescue falters, more people will die on the battlefield. We didn't come all this way from Babylonia just to be a liability for bases here on the surface. That's not for you to worry about. We will take you and the other casualty Lucia brought back to the conservation area for professional evaluation to assess the necessary provisions. You mean the other member from Grey Raven? Liv? She didn't come here with you? She is staying in the conversation area to help tend to the wounded. She's the only qualified medic there now. We weren't able to get a lot of supplies, but we'll at least be able to hold out for a few more days. Had we not saved you, we would have gotten this. We wouldn't haven't gotten the supplies secured. People in the conversation area are still waiting for good news from Babylonian reinforcements. Not to mention, saving lives is something that requires hesitation. But our surface reinforcement plan has failed once again. Shit. Oh, I wish PGR had this, like, thing. Like, most other gacha games that you can just... Like, if you want to, if you want to see something important, you just... You know, or not important, but, like, if you want to see just this specific, like, screen... You can just, like, hit a button, and then the text spots will, like, and everything else will just go away. You can, like, read all the details. I can see they put a lot of Sicels. There's a lot of Sicels. We got Clives. Oh, okay. No, wait, this is all just repeated. Ah, that got this, maybe. No, there's still some unique names. But there's like a bunch of Cecels. That's crazy. I didn't know Cecel was a common name. Oh, there's also Child. Not to be confused with Genshin's Child. With an E. I'm still reading over the names, don't mind me. Gosh. Anyways. The prologue of our nightmare finally concludes as the cry of the Hetero Hive mother echoed through the Pella Forest Park ruins. The explosion blew the highly concentrated punching virus around that mother everywhere, covering the entire forest park in the ashes of death. Ugh. Shit. When the magnificent light of the Longinus arsenal finally dissipated, only the charred remains of the Hetero Hive mother and all those Hetero sapiens lurking in the forest were left. But the punishing virus did not just disappear like that, and the Great Fire didn't stop the violent Hetero creatures and Hetero sapiens from running rampant. With the CPF 040 destroyed, the tower no longer purified the air of the punishing virus, and those things took to the air, fanning the flames of an already dire situation. Calamity spread like wildfire, and the punishing virus filled the air. To restore life on Earth, we hope the tragedy of the Great Evacuation won't happen a second time. We shall exhaust all of our manpower and transportation capacity to get to the victims of this disaster to a safe area further away from here. The Babylonia citizens have cast their votes. We decided to go with this decision. Time is of the essence if we were to save lives. Strykok and Cerberus will lead this rescue operation and deal with the hostile hetero creatures coming from the sky. Move out, team. The first few rescue operations went well. Most Babylonia citizens didn't expect they would have so many strangers here, but quite some lucky ones made it to this place safely. However, calamity ensued shortly afterward. Babylonian politics. I'm kidding. We failed. Many teams reported this last month. They said they saw some hetero creatures with wings that learn how to fly with the help of a highly concentrated punishing virus. Now, those things swarmed together and attacked our transport craft. This was our last mission report. Lost contact with the elite squad on the other transport craft. The residents of Babylonia finally decided to cast aside their warriors and accept life on the ground. The sky isn't safe anymore. The path is cut off. Where can people run to? There's no way back now. If they request backup, they'll repeat our mistake. The lead team trapped on the surface volunteers to protect the conversation area and hunt down the hetero creatures and hetero sapiens. Yes, my boy Noctis! He still doesn't have the character look, but what can he do? I gotta get my Noctis voice. Boss, I've dealt with the areas I was asked to clean up, but look at this. Noctis furrows his brows in the... His browns? Noctis furrows his brows in the mission recording and points to the red tide behind him. The hetero creatures are coming back to life in the raging red tide. Then, we'll vaporize the red tide too. The three figures in the recording raise their weapons and approach the red tide. However, another signal stops them in their tracks. This notification is for all the task force members. Judging by the data we've collected, the red tide shows no signs of stopping. Even if we make the red tide evaporate, the punishing virus will remain in the air. When the punishing virus strikes again and corrupts human bodies, the festered flesh will slowly converge and form a new red tide, similar to the liquids those heterosapiens segregate. Be careful not to let the red tide converge, otherwise we'll have another disaster on our hands. But no need to waste time on tributaries that haven't converged yet. These will continue to generate so long as there are casualties in the presence of the punishing virus. Asimov, do you think we're cleaning the red tide, or the dead that become part of it? No one can answer this question. This disaster is dragging us slowly into hell. No place to hide. No path to flee. After the fire in the Forest Park ruins goes out, hordes of hetero creatures emerge worldwide. Overwhelming and unstoppable, they slaughter all living beings that stand in their way. Under cascading death, the harm caused by the unidentified twins is actually negligible. A tide of hetero creatures wanders aimlessly through the wilderness, spreading footprints of grief and death through this rotten land. The twins left among the ashes walk toward the west coast, robbing language and knowledge from dead humans and constructs along the way. After arriving at the west coast, instead of crossing the sea, they continued to move northward along the coast. They joined the barrage of hetero creatures in the battle against humans and constructs stationed in the defense zone, resulting in the destruction of the conversation areas in 37 cities and leaving no survivors. When the garrison sensed that there was no chance of victory, they had no choice but to resort to avoidance tactics, protecting their action trajectory and withdrawing in advance. These predictions are not always accurate. The enemy sometimes acts separately or stays in the same area for a long period of time. But most of the time, the twins of the barrage of hetero creatures explore one city for up to 1 to 3 days before proceeding to the next city. In order to avoid getting ravaged and devastated by the approaching barrage, residents from adjacent cities flee in advance. The residents couldn't flee in time. They had no choice but to leave their future up to fate to decide. If people choose to leave early because of fear, they will fall into the dilemma of competing for resources with residents of other cities. These hetero creatures are barrage and whatever, in every sense of the word, bringing death to the land whenever they inundate. Under such a catastrophe, only one conversation area where the twins passed managed to survive, only by retreating underground had they not drawn the twins' attention. However, when the garrison of the next conversation area attempted to adapt this tactic, they were instead burned to death underground. These creatures grow in wisdom and learn how to use tools, evolving little by little. However, no one can make a conclusive decision as to whether they have feelings or temperament in the biological sense. Just as humans treat vegetation, they regard humans as a natural resource here on Earth. They pick up lone humans, like cherishing the seeds, and return them to the crowd. Although these humans would die of severe infection after coming into contact with the punching virus, some people have witnessed the twins' harmless appearance. Like appreciating flowers, the twins also insert the damaged and broken constructs into the dense red tide, and tell them with their chilling voices to become whole again. Before they truly understand feelings of benevolence, humans cannot rely on communication. They can only escape the twins' tracks before being plundered. At first, in order to avoid the high concentration of punishing virus on the surface, people plan to migrate to the Arctic Route Union. But these creatures begin to venture northward. The barrage of the twins and the migrating hetero creatures breeding danger to the northwest, people turn to the southeast for refuge. With surface buildings in the conversation area lacking airtight ventilation, CPFs can no longer ensure safety in such a high concentration of the punishing virus. Most human beings live in the enclosed basement of the conversation area, leaving the resource collection and rescue operations to the constructs. Even if scavengers are fitted with full sets of protective suits, the ruins are still hindered by the threat of hetero creatures. When all the land outside the conservation area becomes entrenched with hidden dangers, supply consumption becomes a new problem. People are urgent need of rescue, but the transport crafts originally used for rescue only ended up turning into fuel time and again. We were forced to step into the eternal night of death, and with different language of bodies, war as one in the afterburn of dawn. In order to retain the few motes of light that remain in the darkness. Holy shit. What a fucking opening. What an opening. Babylonia, 9:30 p.m. The cold lights once again illuminate the symbols of the five powers. The gloomy space matches the anxious expressions of each council member, allowing the hall to maintain solemnity and unity in front of the camera. In silence, the light representing the will of the people appears on screen as arranged. Seeing that everything is ready, Hanson rises and announces the commencement of the meeting. I'm sure everyone already knows the topic of this meeting. During our last meeting, the overwhelming majority voted in favor of escorting all refugees who consent back to Babylonia. These days, we've made considerable sacrifices, but we have not achieved the corresponding results. He raises his hand and leads everyone's eyes to the light blue holoscreen in front of him, which shows a group of rosters and a graph of green data indicating a downward trend. 3 hours have passed since our last failed rescue attempt. After the Polalia Forest Park disaster, Babylonia dispatched 765 transport crafts over 374 rescue attempts to the surface. Oh my god, that's such a that's kind of like a mouthful to say. Rendezvous. Yeah, there we go. No, I was just thinking about that. Yep, don't mind me. On day one of the disaster, we rescued 587 refugees at a loss of 13 aircrafts, and 21 pilots and crew perished. On day 2, 493 refugees were rescued with 11 severe injuries, 42 minor injuries, 27 aircrafts were lost, and 36 pilots and crew were perished. Day 3, 271 refugees rescued, of which 21 were severely injured, and 7 DOA at Babylonia, 53 aircraft lost, 71 pilots and crew members dead. In order to increase the success of these rescue operations, we dispatched Cerberus and Strikehawk. These elite squads have been able to protect most of the crew during ambushes. However, the hetero creatures are becoming increasingly relentless. Even our elite forces are struggling to prevent losses during air transit. The line graph continues to sink in front of the camera to the lowest point of the dataset. As shown in the figure, the success rate of our rescue operations continues to decline with each passing day. We have tried various tactics and even resorted to autonomous rescue pods, but there was no obvious change. They are in a state of insurrection, will attack everything within range. According to our latest statistics, our success rate has fallen below 3.12% for 12 consecutive days. The cost of these rescue operations in terms of constructs, materials, and transportation continues to escalate. Without an intact transport craft, even the elite teams currently stranded on the surface are unable to return to Babylonia. The red line indicating an upward trend is overlaid on the green chart, creating an exaggerated edge shape. As for whenever to continue these rescue operations, I believe you have already collected the votes prior to this meeting. Yeah. Yes, Mr. President. According to the votes, the 57 of the public believe that the number of casualties far exceeds the number of those rescues, and these meaningless operations should cease immediately. The lower than anticipated disapproval rate caught many of the council members' attention, causing everyone to begin whispering in the shadows. Only 57%? I assume the disapproval rate will be closer to 100% given our losses. The remaining 43% of voters believe that we should continue these operations, at least return the elite squads back to Babylonia. Gestalt, simulate both scenarios. With the current tactics... I gotta sound like a robot. With the current tactics, the success rate will result in an estimate of 0 or a negative number, deducing the combat effectiveness of elite squads. No direct engagement with the twins results in a 97.1% survival rate on the surface. Then it's decided. Given these whatever. We will suspend surface rescue operations and prioritize necessary logistics for Babylonia. That being said, we will not abandon our comrades stranded on Earth. Parliament will urge the task force to modify its tactics as soon as possible to improve the success rate and make a second rescue attempt. With the meeting adjourned, Hassan has joined in his office by an expected guest here to discuss an unexpected topic. I noticed this problem too. Compared with researching how to change rescue tactics, Colonel will be more inclined toward a full evacuation. They garnered less support than expected this time. That's good news. That also means that your desire to make a second rescue attempt didn't fall on deaf ears. After a moment of contemplation, Masana raises the hand again and projects a video recording onto the screen. Have you seen this? Lucia, Captain of Grey Raven, issuing a mission report to HQ. We have successfully cleared the hetero creatures from the Polea Forest Park ruins and have fully evacuated outside of the corruption zone. There's a high-level punishing concentration here due to the large presence of hetero creatures. According to the information we have received, the surrounding areas are the same, except in the direction leading to the ARU. However, we are unable to escort this many refugees by foot, nor does the ARU have enough supplies to sustain such a high influx of refugees. After we confirmed that the twins headed toward the west coast, we took the Commandant and 67 humans to the basement in City 43's conversation area. We have enough supplies here to sustain us for 15 days. Requesting immediate aid. Tisela is still MIA. Commandant Vanessa and Babanata from Egret are also with us. They suffer some injuries, but they are no longer in critical condition after being treated by Liv. She pauses for a second. As for Commandant Plushman 1, we just rendezvoused with Liv. She's more qualified to issue a report. She points her terminal at Liv. Fortunately, the Commandant's abdominal wound didn't affect any vital organs. However, during the evacuation, the Commandant suffered a serious head injury, leading to brain trauma and subdural hematoma. After we moved to the conversation area of City 43, we used the medical facilities here to perform a craniotomy on the Commandant and remove the hematoma. While we were searching for a conversation area to operate in, we were delayed after being attacked by a barrage of hetero creatures. Now, the situation isn't looking good. The Commandant's in the coma and battling an infection. The medical equipment here is less than ideal, and most of the medical supplies have been taken away. If if this continues, the Commandant may face a septic shock. Hopefully, we can bring the Commandant back to Babylonia for treatment, but based on the current safety concerns in transit, I'm afraid that even if we make it back, the turbulence will only cause secondary injuries to the Commandant. We need immediate medical relief, whether that be for the Commandant or for the injured residents here in City 43's conversation area. That's our current sit rep. Please send support as soon as possible. Lucia's recording cuts out. This is the mission report we received after they just retreated from the Polaria Forest Park ruins. We dispatched more supplies and support to provide emergency relief, but Flashman 1 shows no signs of improvement. The return ceremony of Atlantis gave people hope. It made them care for heroes. After the fire in Palelia. Fuck. People want to know Grey Raven's whereabouts. I think it's an appropriate time to disclose the very current situation. We suffered heavy casualties this time. Commandant Harley Joe and Yatta barely made it back to Babylonia with Simon in a coma. They're still at the start of life, and Simon has yet to regain consciousness. Igarat and numerous other constructs are still stranded on the surface. If even Grey Raven and Plushman 1 have suffered such serious losses, this will be a huge blow to the people's confidence in victory. At that point, I'm sure even more people will be in favor of abandoning the rescue effort. If we don't inform the people, they only turn to rumors. Sometimes acceptance is more helpful for us to overcome difficulties. Okay. Side tangent here. Hold on, let me just drink this water. Yeah, as I'm starting to read on to the main story, I'm starting to dislike how fucking this guy sucks the Commandant's dick so much. Like this motherfucker right here is like the president of Babylonia, and yet he gives us special treatment. Like, I don't know, just treat us like a fucking normal soldier. Like, please. I don't want any special treatment. That's just my opinion, though. Yeah. But surely we approach this in a more delicate manner. What if I say I wanted this to use as a bargaining chip with Kurno? You mean the Mega File? Correct. According to the Science Council's report, the Mega Prototype is complete. It has the ability to restore the Prodigy virus, but the effect is limited. Given the information in the report, it seems that it can't actively capture the punching virus. However, it can still absorb it by coming into contact with the virus. Considering its current form, even if we devote all resources to make mass production, it's going to be difficult to achieve the desired effect. However, if you can direct large quantities of the punching virus to the Mega Prototype, we may be able to achieve a vastly different effect. How can constructs absorb the punishing virus? Isn't that a characteristic reserved for Ascendants? You're thinking of joining forces with Coronel, aren't you? The Science Council stole a portion of Coronel's R&D through its counterintelligence program. They're using Ascendant data to develop a specialized frame. If Asimov can confirm the Omega Weapon's compatibility with this new frame, we can use the current situation to discuss it with them. Heavy rain falls on a gloomy afternoon. Grey Raven has already been stranded on the surface for over a month. During this time, Liv has been meticulously caring for Plushman 1, who has shown no signs of regaining consciousness. The rain outside the basement has gradually washed away the conjugated blood on the streets. Devoid of humans, the ruins are now filled only with the corrupted hetero creatures lingering aimlessly. Before the abandoned... Oh, Jesus Christ. We're still... we haven't get into the game and still doing all this, like... Or, all this dump. Which I don't mind. It's trying to set up something. Before the abandoned CPF, before the abandoned CPF and the Polea Forest Park were set ablaze, people had noticed a punishing concentration steadily rising with the appearance of the Red Tide. After that time, people simply attributed this phenomenon to the Hetero Core and the Red Tide. They believed this was the manifestation of the punishing virus, as it accumulated and evolved, not that they were the culprits. Nobody was aware of a much greater disaster silently looming in the distance. They only targeted the Red Tide, thinking that if it was eliminated, their problems will be solved. Thus, they used the longest arsenal to obliterate the Red Tide of this I'm sorry, guys. I cannot read. I'm sorry, guys. Again, you had to forgive me. However, the punishing virus still remained. Nothing could dissipate it. Their efforts were akin to evaporating a stream, the condensation of which only returned to the air. The airborne punishing virus was then absorbed by the mother. What should have been an overflowing punishing concentration seemingly fell, during which it was used as time to breed yet another disaster. With the CPF and Forest Park reduced to ruins, the punishing virus trapped within was released into the world, further fanning the flames of a world already at its limit. They already said that. In this vast Red Sea, the emergence of humanoid creatures only indicated the further evolution of the punishing creatures. However, they are not the greatest threat, nor are they the ultimate fruit born from disaster. Today, the hotbed known as the Red Tide continues to sow its seeds across the land as it marches onward over bloodstains, both new and old, and the joyous pitter-patter of rain. Humanity, how the children of Earth have fallen. Now, they are cast adrift like a ship without sails, huddling in the narrow cabins they call the conversation areas, praying to the CPFs for the minuscule protection that they provide. Ooh, he's saying all this shit. Conversation area basement, 9:30 p.m. Rise of the Council in Babylonia is deliberating whenever to suspend rescue. Humanity on Earth eagerly awaits for good news in the closed basement. Several days have passed since they last received aid. Food and medical supplies dwindle right before their eyes. However, for people in any conversation area, stepping out of the enclosed basement and returning to the old ways as scavengers means certain death. They have no choice to remain in the conversation area under the protection of the constructs. Didn't they say supplies were on the way? How much longer we gotta wait? The enclosed basement filled with the stench of decaying flesh. A haggard refugee suddenly shouts at his partner. Who knows? Maybe they failed again. His companion seems less anxious, stroking the old guitar as he plucks it at its strings. How can you play that thing at a time like this, Chuck? What else can I do? We all have our ways of handling stress. Want me, oh, to take it out on you. Oh, yeah. The young refugee named Chuck sings weakly as he strums along with each word, but there's only a nice last ounce of reason in the other resident, who begins to yell him angrily. Had I known it was going to be like this, we should have evacuated while we still had a chance! Hearing the sudden outburst, Liv looks up anxiously from beside the patient she was attending to and watches him out of the corner of her eye. If it hadn't been for those damn corrupted and those hetero whatevers pursuing the transfer crafts, we would have been out of here already. I told you we should have left earlier, but no, you were too much of a chicken shit about it crashing on the way back to Babylonia. Babylonia finally sent rescue, and we missed the boat. But didn't it end up crashing anyways? I wasn't just being paranoid now, was I? Not to mention, those constructs guarding this place, their commandant didn't go on it either. Didn't you hear, idiot? Their commandant's head couldn't handle the turbulence. I was just thinking, we wait a few days until it's safe, then we go back with their commandant. I wasn't expecting it to get worse. Then we're gonna go. Then what are you going on about? We stay here, we die. We go on the transfer craft, we die. That's all we got to live for now. Oh, what the hell are you talking about? We already made it out of danger once already. The conversation area in Polaria Forest was a damn death trap. The whole place was blown to smithereens. Kaboom! He jumped out of bed and mimics the explosion in the ruins. Can't you see? With the punishing concentration as high as it is, even the refugees living out in the wilderness are fighting to enter the conversation areas. Just look at that guy with the guitar. But despite all that, we're still alive. And we're going to keep on living. Despite Chuck's angry glare, he shakes the other resident excitedly as to cheer himself up by shouting, Alright. I'll go find some other place to play. Where else is there to go down here? Chuck doesn't respond. Instead, he quietly grabs his guitar and proceeds further into the basement. You still got this much energy to shout. Give me some of your rations tomorrow. Pushes them away, sighs quietly. He grabs his injured leg and struggles to adjust his posture. If you don't got any, don't we still have protective gear? What's that gonna do? The head when you got on the way here must have given you a concussion. If you think that will help us kill those monsters, I just want. His voice suddenly withers. Noticing his partner's dejected mood, the middle-aged man sits up and pats him on the back. It was just a scrapped CPF 100 kilometers away that was blown up. That's all. It's nothing serious. He'll be alright. If it was just that, then why the hell are we stuck here? Already on the verge of a mental breakdown, the man begins to sob as panic sets in. Hey, don't cry. You'll be alright. Doctor. My head wound. Has the wound opened again? I'll be right with you. Thanks. You haven't had any shut-eye for the past few days, have you? Contracts don't need to sleep. I can still keep on going for a few more days, but you need more rest, and stop irritating your wound. It's just hurts and itches at the same time. I can't help myself. The middle-aged man gazes up at Liv. Dark circles surround his glossy eyes. Hey, snot-nosed brat. Tell me, how many days have we been here? His fatigued, unclear question gets lost in the surrounding noise, wielding no response. Okay. How much until we get to an actual stage? Hold on. Oh my god. We're gonna be shitting through all this story. Oh, another 7-3. Holy shit. That is long. We're still like in the first stretch. Like what the fuck? A whole night passed since Lucia and Lee brought back the construct wounded in the rescue attempt back to the enclosed basement in the conversation area. After Liv performed basic maintenance, he recovered most of his ability to participate in a new rescue mission. Unable to return to Babylonia, the constructs have been entrenched in a war of attrition. Issues caused by the damage to their frames and lack of maintenance chambers are beginning to wear on them. People are still huddled in the cold and damp basement of the conversation area, craning their necks and waiting for a sound from the outside. They look forward to new development, whatever that be, news the punishing concentration decreasing, rescue supplies to be arranged for their own conversation area, or for newly rescued refugees to be sent to the conversation area, to other conversation areas. So long as no more refugees will come, any news is eagerly awaited. But disappointment was accompanied by hunger and sickness for the 164 people crowded in this enclosed basement. In addition, there are also 10 constructs and 2 commandants. Aside from the 3 constructs and Commandant Plushman 1 of Grey Raven, Baba Nata, and Commandant Vanessa of Egret, the 6 remaining constructs were the only few survivors from previous rescue attempts. Of these 6 constructs, all but 2 are seriously injured. The other 4 had already recovered mobility under Liv's care. They had joined search and rescue attempts in the surrounding area, but as time passed, fewer refugees could be found. All of the active units on the west coast have been searched. Day 2 is 6 a.m. after the second rescue attempt by Babylonia. Lee has returned for the search and rescue mission with 2 constructs. Seeing all the people sleeping in the basement, he lowers his voice. He stands outside the sealed door, shakes off the rain off his frame, and hands 2 small boxes to the construct in front of him. This is all the supplies we could find. Place it in the storage for now. Yes, sir. Lucia still hasn't completed her mission in City 04. I'm going to help her. What's the situation? The conversation areas along the west coast have all been completely destroyed. All of them? Yes. Just like Vanessa had predicted, the twins have left nothing but destruction in the wake as they've gone up the west coast. During this period, they walked from Palalia Forest to the west coast, then up north, and stayed several days near the ARU. Oh, excuse me. Instead of entering the ARU, they redirected the route to the southeastern coast. That is, the Palalia Forest Park ruins, and returned here. At present, the twins have arrived near City 41. If they choose to return to Palalia Forest, that should bode well for us, considering that City 43 isn't near City 40. If they decided to enter City 42, their next target might be here. So, once Lucia comes back, we need to make a plan quickly. Are there any survivors at any of the cities along the west coast? Not many. Only 3, 2 which I brought back, and the other one went to another conversation area looking for a friend. 2 adolescent boys stand behind him, one of which is holding a cane, his leg badly corrupted. The other appears weak, but seems otherwise healthy. His corruption appears serious. Looks like he needs cerium. Well, there's still some cerium in the initial supplies, but there's only one room left at the basement. Follow me. What about matches? The adolescent boy imitates the tone of their voices and keeps his voice down. Matches? Behind you. Before he can be heard, a furry figure crowded into the door. Although its fur is dirty, it looks frail. They see it's a border collie. Matches? The boy lets out a sigh of relief as he pets his fluffy head. Thanks for letting me bring him. If there's anything you need me to do. No, thank you for bringing food. The other boy beside him gives a resentful sneer, waking up several people lightly sleepy beside him, who look curiously at the door. Matches is my family. No one can eat him. Yeah.
You're willing to starve people for the sake of your family. The boy strides into the room with a fake smile, and nods to the current person beside the bed. Hey, bro, want to hear something funny? That kid was teaching his dog to drive a car on the way over here. He raises his hands and acts like he is holding the steering wheel as he continues on. Matches, this goes left, and this goes right. Cool, huh? Now we just need to find a car. Amused, the entire refugees look at the boy and his dog. They burst out laughing. For a moment, everyone cheers up a bit in the dull basement. But the jokester quickly stops laughing. Thank you for your hospitality, everyone. I'm sure we didn't bring many supplies. The boy seems accustomed to dealing with refugees, but cracking a joke and greeting everyone, he seems to quickly resolve the crowd's hostility to the loss of another share of their rations. What's the situation outside? Everything's destroyed from the park ruins to the west coast. Hearing this, the refugees began murmuring to one another. Because of those two things. And until those hetero creatures, we were ducking and hiding behind every corner all the way here. Well, since it appears that the west coast is pretty much destroyed, who knows where those two things will go next. The refugee hands him a thumb-sized biscuit. Here, take this. Thanks for the news. Those constructs exchange intel with each other every day, and they refuse to tell us anything. I'm going to help Lucia. Seems like she's in a predicament. I'll leave you in charge here, Liv. Lee waves to Liv and steps with several constructs fit to move. Okay, I'll have everything under control. Be careful. The officer staying in the room next door says she has some information, but it will cause us to lose all hope. So she doesn't want to talk about it for the time being. What's the point of that? How can we be any more hopeless? We've been conducting reconnaissance missions in the surrounding area, but nothing has changed. We'll let everyone know right away if the situation begins to improve or there's any danger. She did not say anything more. She walks to another boy to lead him to a room deep inside to rest. Thank you. Just as they are about to cross the room, the boy who had just eaten the biscuit suddenly speaks. Oh, yeah, just to let everyone know. Be sure to guard your rations, everyone. Know what happened to our supplies in the warehouse when our conversation area was destroyed? Hey, I didn't do anything. Chill out, I'm not talking about you. After all, if you went to the White House, you have more than your leg corrupted. I mean, his dog. His dog ate a bunch of cans before the constructs could go in and recover our supplies. That mutt even ate the supplies my friend gave his life for. Now, I'm stuck here. That's not true. Matches didn't do that. A person was trapped in there. Whimpers. When the constructs went out to bring the supplies, they just said there were 2 bodies and a bunch of empty cans in there. What if they ran in here to eat the supplies? They died from the high concentration of punching virus. Everyone knew that going into the warehouse was certain death. Were they so starving that they didn't even care if they died? I think they just rushed into the warehouse to stop the dog. I don't know why they ran in here, but Matches and I didn't take any supplies. We just... Hey, kiddo. The refugee who appears to be the leader steps out of the shadowy corner and approaches the boy. I don't want to argue about whether your dog ate the cans or not. They're already gone. Talking about it isn't going to do anything. I just want to ask, how many supplies did you bring? I'm sorry, but I didn't bring any. Then, what are we to do about your dog? This question seems more like a command, turning everyone's laughter into solemn silence. They grimly stare at the boy's flustered and invasive eyes. In other words, if you want to stay here, You want to feed your own dog with with our supplies, right? I'm sorry. I'll feed him myself. And how are you gonna do that? You don't have any protective suit. Your leg is wounded. You think you could do that by yourself? You say that now, but then who's to stop you when you're off with your supplies in the middle of the night? Make him leave. We can't feed it ourselves. Where are we gonna get food to feed a dog too? Yeah, I'm starving. Even took my friend's supplies. The boys' cry ignites the grief and despair piled up by the crowd over the many days. They all stand up after one another, regardless of their injuries. We can't just keep taking refugees. We don't have enough food to get through the day, and refugees keep coming. We're just gonna starve to death. Damn, kid. Don't blame us for not welcoming you with open arms. But if I can't even feed myself, then what makes you think you get a share of our food? We haven't enough to spare starvation, selfish brat. And to think we'll feed your dog? Why don't we barbecue your dog? I'll give you a pack of biscuits as a thank you. Don't you think about it? The timid boy suddenly raises his voice. Matches, it's my family! Family? Think you'd steal food to feed your family? The atmosphere tenses up, as either side refuse to back down. Hey, they're about to fight. Don't worry about that. The leader will break it up if they do. I can leave if you want. I won't let you hurt him. Alright. Scram, you worthless brat. I'm already beat kind enough as not to punch you in your face in. He stands up, grabs the boy by the collar, and kicks away Matches, who rushes over to protect him. Seeing that there's going to be a conflict in the crowd, Liv, who's always been gentle, puts down her medicine and puts herself between the boy and the angry mob. Oh? You want to protect this mutt, Miss Doctor? He said it's his family. Family? What are you talking about? In this dog-eat-dog world, plundering's the only way to live. Here we go again. When he spouting that nonsense again. Just let him go crazy. Those constructs will put him in his place when they see him enough. Put who in his place? Now that her teammates are gone, she's the only construct here. She can't even move her with her leg broken. What's a construct like her going to do? I'll show you that the law of the jungle is the only truth. We need to kill that dog in order to survive. You're right about that in battle, but this isn't a battle we should fight. Doesn't matter. If I wanna, I'd even sacrifice my own family. Don't think a dog is gonna stop me. Liv stops arguing. Instead, she looks directly at the middle-aged man, standing before her in silence. Babylonian scum. He spits angrily, rolls up his worn cuffs, and swings a haymaker at Liv. But all it does is to make her take a step back with her broken leg. That's all you Babylonians are good for. Quit bullying a wounded doctor, Guanina. It's embarrassing. The refugee, referred to as Q, begrudgingly swallows his retort, glaring at Liv. He rolls down his sleeves, holds his red fist with the other hand, and sits down in his wet corner with an angry look on his face. No matter where they came from, these constructs, especially this doctor with her leg injury, saved us and have taken care of us for so many days. If the law of the jungle ruled the world, he wouldn't deserve to be saved. The punching virus would have turned into a piece of rotten meat to be fed to his dog. Q grits his teeth and shakes his head. You brought this upon us. Yes, but I don't want to cause a dispute. I just want to ask this doctor and that boy. Do you have any way to convince everyone? The crowd's gaze shifts back to the boy and his family. I'll just take my share and split it with Matches. It won't steal anything. I promise. You can quarantine me, if that makes everyone feel better. Well, since you say so, I'm willing to believe you. You don't need to be quarantined. Not like we have the space anyway. I accept your proposal. Proposal. What does everyone else think? The hungry crowd is silent. No one raises any objection. Then it's settled. But Q, come with me for a moment. What's your name? Since the food shortage cannot be fixed, she can at least do something that is within her power. She pats the boy on the shoulder and gently leads him into the room.
My name's Stanley, and this is Matches.
Wolf. The border collie gives a gentle yip as a greeting. They follow Stanley into the room. Thank you for being so kind to me, Miss Construct. Don't worry about it.
You can call me Liv.
Thank you, Miss Liv. And to your friend for saving me. And bringing Matches along. Sorry for all the trouble I caused. There's not much I could do. But if you think of anything... He bows humbly and carefully thanks Liv once again, in fear of saying something wrong. Everything's fine. Don't worry. It takes a lot of courage to look after that little guy in a place like this. Not to mention, he and Matches have already had your fair share of hunger and suffering. I'm sure you guys can tough it out just a little longer. Woof. Is your leg okay? I patched it up, but we don't have enough supplies for me to fully repair it. Oh, right. She takes out a tattered bag stained with blood. Inside it contains dry military rations. This was supposed to be for our commandant, but the seal was broken during a retreat, and is about to expire. Mind if I give it to Matches? Really? Thank you so much! But your commandant doesn't need it? Appears so for now.
I hope your commandant gets well soon.
Hold on. I'm gonna close my window real quick because it's starting to get cold. Here we go. I had it open just for the cold air.
Ha ha ha. Me too.
Sensing Liv's sadness, Matches wags his tail and tries to lick her hand. Don't, Matches! Stanley quickly pulls Matches back. She's a doctor. She needs to keep her hands sanitized. There are not enough supplies for that. We can't be a burden on them. Matches' perky ears ahead droop suddenly, as if he understands. It's okay. Don't worry. The boy appears skittish, likely due to frequently being ostracized. Seeing Liv take out a bandage and disinfect it, the boy rolls up his pants, exposing a festering wound from corruption, and begins helping Liv. Like, what? Is the boy's personality because of Matches? Stanley, if the situation continues to get worse, what are you gonna do? Looks down in silence. I get what you mean, Miss Liv. I know animals can't be corrupted by the punishing virus. They can only carry it. So, I thought about releasing Matches into the wild. But he's already used to living with humans even before I met him. If I let him go, the next time he sees another human, he might get attacked again. I know I'm being selfish, but I need Matches by my side. He's the only thing keeping me going. So I'll just keep him with me. If I ever run out of supplies, I'll abandon myself, not Matches. Do you realize what you just said? Thank you, Miss Liv. He refrains from answering. Instead, he just sincerely thanks her for one last time. Every person wandering these lands has turmoil uniquely their own. It's useless even to ask. The only way to resolve their suffering is to restore Earth to its vitality. Anything else can only temporarily delay the pain. But this goal is too far away. people have no choice to immerse themselves in daily life. In order not to open up old wounds to delay the pain, Liv refrains from pushing the question. She just adeptly disaffects and banishes Stanley's wound, then injects him with the serum. As long as there's something that can be improved, that's the best consolation at this moment. Your corruption won't get any worse as long as you stay here in the closed basement. And also, since you're unwilling to let matches go, you need to keep living. Got it? Don't be going around saying you'll abandon yourself so casually. It's just like you said. You depend on matches, and matches depends on you. Okay. Mentioning matches, the boy's voice becomes softer. He thinks live again, snuggles up with matches, and quickly falls asleep.
Oh my god, we haven't got to the stage. This is an impromptu internal meeting. Everyone, please keep all the information mentioned in this meeting confidential. After the disaster broke out of the Polea Forest Park ruins, the council members have already participated in countless impromptu meetings. And an impromptu meeting is used to mean an emergency. Now, it also means a difficult dilemma to overcome. Huh. As everyone knows, the situation on Earth is taking a turn for the worst. The high punishing concentration has caused varying degrees of evolution in hetero creatures across the different regions. They have learned to attack in groups. If they are injured, they quickly retreat and regroup in the Red Tide. Those winged hetero creatures have increased their flight speed and altitude, allowing them to attack transport crafts. However, our forces stranded on the surface have been unable to stop the twins from advancing. For now, they can only withdraw. The CPF has been destroyed, their greenhouse collapsed, and the blood of the dead has turned into the Red Tide, breeding new enemies. We've made great sacrifices to resolve this disaster with little to show for it. If this continues, everything that has been restored on the surface will be in vain. We need something that can turn the tide in our fight against the punishing virus. Preliminary research of the Megaphile Plushman obtained from Atlantis is beginning to show progress. The Mega prototype produced by the Science Council has proved to be capable of absorbing the punishing virus. However, it is unable to change the overall environment at its current stage. I propose that we focus all of Babylonia's resources and research into this program. Upon announcing the topic for this meeting, Hassan opens the floor for discussion. But no one in the dark room voices their opinion. Sorry, I was getting something. We need to put aside our differences and focus our efforts on solving this crisis immediately. Is this really a wise use of our resources? Babylonia cannot be completely self-sufficient for so long as they control our consumption and cut supplies for troops on the surface. That may be the case, but is it sustainable? Our current crisis isn't just the high punishing concentration on the surface, but also ascendants infiltrating Gestalt, the hetero creatures to attain air superiority. Not to mention, the emergence of the twins. What makes you think they won't continue to evolve? We should at least come up with a concrete method for solving this crisis before we discuss putting all of our eggs in one basket. We've already devised a method. However, this method requires assistance from Project Rinter to achieve the maximum effect. Uttering these two words causes whispers to echo throughout the dimly lit council. According to my knowledge, the Science Council has also dabbled in Project Rinter. However, these conversations have only been committed to enhancing the stability of specialized frames. They haven't expanded their efforts into controlling the punishing virus. Controlling the punishing virus?
The councilman looks at President Hassan, sitting silently in front of him. I'm sure you are aware that based on the current progress of Project Winter, the specialized frames designed with the latest data have serious defects. They're similar to a descendant frame by actively gathering the punishing virus within the frame in the user's mind. However, since the user isn't a descendant, they can't resist the punishing virus, nor can they control the frame. Anyone who switched to their new specialized frame was unable to persist in actual combat. They can even last 20 minutes on the surface before succumbing to corruption. Even if we can somehow delay corruption, there will still be serious damage to their mind. Commandant sacrificed their lives to stabilize their mind as a result of a mind beacon pollution. Some of the councilmen who had already receded into the shadows showed no intent on hiding their position. As a result, he takes the initiative to express their position and voice their concerns. Even if the punishing virus cannot be controlled for now, we can resolve issues with corruption by using the Omega prototype. As for mind corruption, leave that to the CTO. During the battle with Alpha and Huatsu assumed direct control over Commandant Plushman 1 of Grey Raven, forcibly connecting the Commandant with nearby Corrupted. I don't need to reiterate the effects on most Commandants when they link with Corrupted, but the symptoms of Plushman 1 weren't as serious. The three other constructs of Grey Raven were able to maintain a secure link with Plushman 1 despite the corruption. Lucia, Liv, Lee, and Chrome has upgraded to the specialized frame. They have achieved a level of mind, stability capable of handling specialized frames. However, due to the instability of this new specialized frame, constructs that have already been affected by their specialized frame are not fit for this dangerous mission. So, that just leaves Lee and Liv. But Plushman 1 has declined to participate in Project Winter. That depends on the content of the project. Plushman 1 and Grey Ravens defeated the Polyphimage and retrieved their files from Atlantis. Heroes who have garnered such attention shouldn't be used as test subjects. Helda deliberately mentions the word heroes to remind those hiding in the shadows that even if Earth is fraught with disaster, they cannot continue to operate in secret. The Control Court will supervise this collaboration to ensure the personal safety of Plushman 1, who will not participate in any research other than that which pertains to linking with the new specialized frames. Grey Raven is still performing missions on the surface while he's still in a coma. Based on the current situation, transport crafts are unable to safely reach the surface, let alone escort Grey Raven back to Babylonia. This is what we'll discuss next. There's an underground base that belongs to Colonel and City 47, where a large number of resources, transport crafts, and a spaceship are stored. If permissible, we can retrieve him and the two other constructs for Grey Raven. This work will begin to secretly among the Parliament. Have you tested the Omega prototype yet? We successfully run simulations, but we haven't deployed it on the surface yet. If we attain the test results regarding its effectiveness against the twins, both sides should be in a more equal standing. Correct. However, we must take it one step at a time. Given the sacrifice required for a round-trip journey to the surface, they can't be expected to pay with their lives for a test that doesn't yield results. Once we return to Babylonia, what will we do if Plushman 1 doesn't begin to improve? We'll wait until Plushman 1 shows signs of improvement before proceeding. If the Commandant doesn't regain consciousness, we'll think of another plan. If there's any hope of averting this disaster, we'll change our plans accordingly. I think you can hear the plane in the background. Okay, no, you cannot. Hold on, just letting everyone know. Damn, nobody wants to do reading apparently. Nobody wants to hear an audible reading. That's crazy. I'm not sure if I read that. Well, I'm gonna read it again. Oh no, okay, I did. The council looks at Hilda, but she remains silent and acquiesces to the other result implied by Nikolai's phrasing. This desolate world no longer leaves for any room for tenderness. We're gonna have to wait until Plushman 1 shows signs of improvement before conducting the experiment. The situation on Earth is taking a turn for the worst. President Hassan reiterates his opening statement. If you want to leave researchers time to start their work, this situation demands an immediate course of action. Even if we manage to mitigate corruption without a mind beacon that can withstand pollution, specialist frames will be difficult to maintain. Correct. Current data predicts that if we cannot resolve issues with mind stability, the subject would die within 3 hours of participating in actual combat. During such a minuscule amount of time, everyone's whispers turn into outcry. However, a council member hiding in the shadows gives a pleasant look of surprise. Can't believe they lasted 3 hours without a commandant to maintain stability. Is that it? What do you mean, is that it? Last time we used the specialized developed with the new data. I gotta rewrite that. What do you mean, is that it? Last time we used the specialized frame developed with the new data could even pass the corruption test, even though they had acquired data for glory, and then implemented numerous barriers and restrictions. But without a commandant that can resist pollution from mind beacons, or someone able to maintain mind stability like Chrome, it was just a useless shell. Even for someone to last just 1 minute as a human bomb proved to be a disaster. This is just the first deployment, yet they already managed to last 3 hours in the simulation. Imagine what can be achieved with such a project in the future with the combined effort of all departments. I can't wait to see her smile at the results. The underground base in City 47 is a major asset and property, but the higher-ups shouldn't refuse such a rare invitation for the Parliament. Even now, they won't put down their hypocritical masks. What's wrong with making sacrifices for the sake of science? Only 3 hours. Isn't this experiment a little inhumane? Do you think you know what inhumane even means? Have you finished cleaning up the aftermath to all of those deaths? Or are you being sarcastic? The centrist councilman retorts sarcastically, unable to remain silent any longer. I'll arrange for ruminations. Being concerned with personal sacrifices will be an insult to everyone who is still struggling, as well as the soldiers and civilians who died in the disaster. Is there a specific plan to integrate the Mega prototype with the specialized frames? Yes, but it's currently top secret. Then how can you verify the efficiency of such a plan? Each party must first negotiate its conditions before verification can be made by both parties. Can't the Science Council guarantee results from the collaborative effort? This is just a preliminary course of action. I still haven't received the agent data. We still need to conduct more tests before making any conclusions. If we want to improve our current predicament, we have only one choice: cooperation. In any case, it's our beginning of hope. But it is just only the beginning. Holy shit. Okay. I hate to end this short, but I am done. I mean, I originally was gonna like make it like all the way towards we're done
the second Scarlet arc right here, but fucking hell. Fucking hell. I'll just do this on my own time. But yeah, that's it for this year. For this yearly stream right here. I'm going to hold on, let me open up volume so you don't hear the music. Yeah, so that's it for me. So let's see. January, somewhere in January, I will probably be streaming. I'll get back to streaming. For what I'm gonna do, well, we're gonna have to find that out. But yeah, thanks for joining in for the. Well, I mean, nobody really joined in, to be honest. Nobody want to listen to my nobody want to listen to my audible reading. My terrible reading. But yeah, guys, see you next year and all that. Bye bye.